Hello, hello, hello. I felt like starting a little bit early today, so thank you everyone who is already here. For anyone that is not aware, I am Unchanged. You are currently watching the Vivacity Esports channel here on Twitch, where we broadcast games from teams within our Vivacity Esports org. Primarily our flagship roster currently competing in Faceit League for Overwatch Season 8 in the Masters division. Tonight we have a quite interesting match where Vivacity, currently 7-2, still just about sat atop Masters Division, will face off against Dhillducks, the perennial gatekeepers of the OWCS, I think many people would call them. So we are obviously expecting quite a good matchup here. I will say I've started early because I want to make sure everything is running smoothly on my end. I want to make sure I can connect some things. And I want to give us time to talk about how the team is doing so far, because we are heading in now to kind of the latter stages of the regular season. And so we have to look forward to the perspectives of what this team can do as we head into the playoffs. Looking into the prospective playoff bracket for this roster, where obviously they're currently, like I said, still in the regular season. They are, as I say, at the moment sat at the top of the division, but you know, they're not necessarily safe there. Team Z, who did beat them in their last match on Wednesday, are currently 6-1. They are closing up that distance on them. The Fallen as well are still 5-0. So they are also making their way up behind them. Amplify is 5-1. I mean, Dhillducks that they play tonight are correct my overlay. They actually won their last game again, which puts them now at 6-3. So they're also very close behind them. So there are a lot of teams currently vying for that top spot in Masters Division, trying to dethrone Vivacity, who at the moment are there primarily on the basis that they have played the most matches so far in this season. So we do obviously hope that they will be able to maintain that, knowing that playoffs start on the 11th of May, so we've got less than a month before the start of the playoffs. And we do only have, including tonight's game, I believe it's 6 matches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 matches left in the regular season. So that is, let's say, 3 weeks of matches, including today's. So that is a lot for our team to have to work through still, and primarily the teams that they are playing in this final stretch are teams in the upper half of the division. They're all teams that are, you know, vying for this top spot as well. They just played Team Z, who are up there with them. As we said, they're playing Dhillducks, who are currently, you know, if Dhillducks win tonight, both themselves and Vivacity would be level on the record. They'd both be 7-3. We have the Fallen, who are still 5-0, is the next game after that. EXN 0 would then be the next game, who are currently 4-2, so also still up in that upper half of the division. Amplify after, who are currently 5-1. Meowlacad also up there. So literally every team they're playing, other than EX Oblivion is the last game of the season, are upper half of the division teams. So they've got a tough run out to finish this season. And that is something we really need to take into account. And that is why these last games are important, because Vivacity kind of need to be careful at this stage. They want to not give too much away. Obviously, they don't want to show their hand too much heading in to the playoffs. But they also kind of can't risk losing too much or they'll put themselves in danger of having a bad play. You know, if they qualify, I can't remember exactly what position it is that qualifies for playoffs, but they would, at the very least, if they don't win enough of these games, put themselves in danger of a bad playoff spot, which we obviously don't want. We want to maintain, you know, near the top end and get a good draw for the playoffs. So it is important that we keep an eye on what the team do for all of those reasons. But it's also important not to over-exaggerate some of these results and to acknowledge that there is a chance of the team saving some strategies in an attempt to not show their hand too early in some of these matchups. To, you know, save some element of surprise on maybe some tactics for that final push through the playoffs. Because as everyone knows, ultimately, the goal of any team that's made it to Masters Division is not just necessarily to maintain their spot in Masters Division, but it's to make that push into the OWCS. This is the path to pro for a reason, and that is going to be any player's ultimate goal, is to complete that push and make it to the pro scene. With that being said, Dhillducks are the perennial gatekeepers of the OWCS. They are somewhat the bridesmaid of Masters Division. Always a team in that upper half of the bracket, but never quite the team that's pushed their way to the end. And so it will be interesting to see what Vivacity, as a team in their, you know, rookie season, so to speak, their first season in Masters Division, what they can do against the old guard. And for anyone that is curious about keeping up with all of that information, you can do so by following us on our social medias. That is at VivacityOW on Twitter, otherwise known as X. It is all linked in the description, bio, the about section of this Twitch channel. I have the Twitter linked and our YouTube channel where we upload all of the VODs of all of our matches covered here on the Vivacity Esports channel. That is all of the Masters Division teams matches. Any previous streams that we've done have also been uploaded, and any future streams we do for any as we expand our capabilities here with our production, any other teams for our lower divisions that we are able to cover, and maybe any invitationals or tournaments of any kind that we end up covering here on the Vivacity Esports channel. All of that will get uploaded to the YouTube, which is also at Vivacity_esports. With that being said, we are about 30 seconds away from our teams getting into the pick and ban phase. I can show you, as we look at the Faceit section, that it is Vivacity on this left-hand side here, and it is Dhillducks on the right, which means Vivacity will get the first map pick and the first ban of tonight's match. And as you can see, there is Vivacity now picking the map. So we know we always start on a control map. So now it's just time to see what Vivacity will pick. I know their general favorite go-to is Lijiang, but I never want to assume. They might want to throw a curveball at the Dhillducks. This is certainly always possible. I'm going to keep it on this screen as well so that everyone can see what I see. As someone that is going to get invited to the match room, so has access to this match room, but doesn't have access as a player or a coach, I do not get to see the entirety of the pick and ban section. This is all I get to see. So, as was somewhat expected, can confirm, we do now have the map pick of Lijiang Tower. And the also somewhat expected Pharah ban. So, the ban, as you can see, will now have come in from the Dhillducks, but I am unable to see that. So this is why there is always a slight delay until I get into the match before I can confirm exactly who that second ban is. There you go. It is indeed going to be Lucio. Meaning that Morlock will not be able to play the Lucio. So it will not be the Lucio Kiriko standard backline from the Brawl favouring Vivacity. Hi, Dizzy. For anyone unaware, Dizzy in the chat is our regular Flex DPS player in-game Makoto. That's hence Dizzy Koto. It's our Vendetta specialist. Who has already made many highlight plays for us so far this season. Will be getting into the game shortly. Just waiting for our teams to load in. And here we go. Underway. Looking at the teams. Morlock on the Juno. Pretty standard flex pick when the Lucio is banned from our main support. Kroll looking to run out on the Diva. Karmez, I'm sure, just TPing them out. Cass, Kiri, Cat. Do have Marcus on the Reaper guy to start off tonight's match. Core of the team just fighting over the objective right now. Temper, though, with that first pick from the Sojourn. Putting in good value already. Indeed, indeed. Time for the Marcus takeover. Love to see it. Here we go. Axe getting another kill. Karmez does come in, though, to take down Temper. Not able to secure anything else. Somewhat forced out. Vivacity, as we saw with that first cap, pretty comfortably. Marcus, I'm going to be a little bit careful there. Getting forced out. TP in from Fern. Now fighting over the backside of point. Temper able to slide away and get to the safety of the team, but Morlock managing to get taken down. Frothy Philly with a nice kunai headshot there. for the Dhillducks. Temper once again getting ran down by Redix and Carmez. Kitsune Rush invested now from Fern, trying to keep everyone alive with that extra bit of sustain. Marcus pumping in damage, but getting a lot back as well. Axe now with the engage onto Snarl, takes them down pretty confidently. Ult comes out from Redix, but doesn't get Fern off the map, and Marcus then comes in, cleans the kills up to a point that Crawl has to just jump off the map. Vivacity able to absorb a lot of that damage there. Still come out of the fight with a win. They do, though, give up a lot of the ult economy. As we see now, Snarl with the High Noon, as well as Frothy Philly with their own Kitsune Rush, will assuredly get used in this coming engagement. Temper! Nice railgun headshot finds Carmez. Still invested. Marcus drops, however. And off the back of that Kitsune Rush, it does look Snarl not even needing the ult, just cleaning up here the hit scan of Dhillducks. Putting in work on that Cassidy. Vivacity, though, with 94% of the point captured, does mean they are in last fight territory. Should they capture here, there's the Noon. The Cat Noon comes in, the highest of Noons, to take out Temper. Meaning Vivacity will have to wait before they take their next engage. Still the bomb and the Diva Bomb and the Pulse Bomb online for Dhillducks. For nearly 5 ults in from Vivacity, Pulse does not stick. And now here is the overclock from Temper, looking to try and burst any targets down. Cruel does take down Fern, though. Axe Redix drops as well. There's the post bomb for the remake from Brawl, as Redix also killed Marcus. Redix now taking down Morlock. Axe drops as well. So it will only be, if Frothy can build it quickly, a Kitsune Rush and a Cat ult from Dhillducks left. Axe still with the cage. Fern with the Kitsune Rush. And Marcus on the Reaper guy with that Death Blossom available. There is a Kitsune Rush in. Now the cage. Death Blossom invested. Not enough. Matrix left from Crawl. Vivacity meet the Frothy Philly Kitsune that came out late pretty comfortably. Here are the kills. The Cat will be able to bring someone in assuredly, or at least get the touch. They stole it out. I believe Axe jumping across actually blocked Redix there to deny the retouch from the Cat. Now that's a play I haven't seen before. Well done from our Malgus specialist tank player there. Running, jumping across, bumping the Cat just a little bit. And I think it was enough to actually deny the touch there. So Vivacity able to take the first point. Pretty cleverly, I mean, knowing that they had the time, only needed to win one fight, so they were pretty happy with just burning the ult economy of Dhillducks to then secure the win. Both teams opting to roll out on the exact same comps. Only difference, Snarl now on the Sojourn. Ooh, and they're immediately able to get value, taking down Marcus, who had TP'd themselves into a little bit of danger. Axe has rotated to the point, but now has to be careful as their team is starting to get pressured out here from Carmez in the backline. Carmez low, but able to escape with their life on the Tracer. Axe coming in for the pincer, gets snarled to low, but Carmez finds Temper first. Cruel then finds Marcus. No DPS online for Vivacity. Lots of the members of Dhillducks falling low, but none of them out of the fight, meaning they get that first capture. Now Vivacity having to try and play into this. Snarl and Carmez taking this off angle. Marcus attempting to deny that engage. Now Axe running in forces the slide out from Snarl and flips the map, but Frothy Philly with another kunai headshot finds Temper. Carmez drops, and Marcus is now low. Axe and Morlock the only ones left, and well, Axe and Fern, sorry, the only ones left, and that didn't last very long. So Dhillducks starting to figure things out here. Now Axe trying to take this right side. Pulse Bomb invested. Doesn't find anything from Carmez, but the cat ult does stun, and Snowl and Carmez then take down Temper and Morlock. So Axe has rotated all the way around, and Marcus did get the point flip, but I don't think it's going to end up mattering too much. Now the Kitsune Rush invested from Fern. Never mind, they're committed to this fight. Fern drops, though. Marcus and Axe are now low and left alone on the objective, just trying to stall out for a little bit more capture. They did get the late ult out of Frothy Philly there, but with Red X filling up the cat feed, they are able to secure that fight. Still the Diva Bomb and the Sojourn Overclock online for Dhillducks here. Vivacity rotating through Fern now on the Brigitte. But here's the overclock and immediately takes down Morlock, who'd invested that orbital cannon. Marcus now trying to come in and close the space, but denied by Crawl and Frothy Philly. Vivacity trying to rotate, but not going to get their Temper. Doesn't get the value out of their overclock. The cage now invested from Axe, but the Pulse Bomb comes out to break it. Snarl then takes them down, and yep, Matrix able to deny any value from Marcus, and the bomb for style at the end. So first point does go to Vivacity, but pretty comfortably the second point now goes to Dhillducks. So once again, no changes from either side other than Temper this time. So hit scan each round, having a little change up to start the game, or to start the point. Temper now on the Tracer. Marcus still on that Reaper. Dhillducks deciding that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So running out on the exact same comp they ended last point on. Morlock low. Snowl had been dropped low, but wins that duel. Axe finds Carmez, but Snarl has taken down both of his supports, so he is now left low on point. Slams up to that high ground. Does he know he has the Mega available? Doesn't, and so gets taken down. Marcus is on point to try and stall, but then has to quite quickly leave. Temper, though, comes back in and finds Snarl, so the hit scan taken out. Still neither side quite securing the objective yet. Temper now trying to harass, wrapping around the full backline. TP from Marcus to try and meet them in server side. Temper finds Red X. Axe finds Frothy Philly immediately coming into that fight. And Snowl is back, but not going to be able to do much here on their own. Slides out to the Mega, but I think they're only going to end up delaying the inevitable there. So they do end up dying in the end. And Carmez does now swap over. Sorry, no, Carmez was already on the Tracer. Temper with a Pulse Bomb of their own, looking to mark out Carmez, as the rest of the team fights for space down main. Kiriko, Frothy Philly comes in to help keep Carmez on the angle. Kitsune Rush invested from Fern. Allows him to take down Red X. Now the Kitsune Rush comes in on point, but Frothy Philly immediately drops. So no supports online. Carmage finds 2. Post bomb and a normal frag out there. Bomb for the remake from Cruel. Redix immediately dropped and coming back in, but Axe dropped as well. Now Carmex on point, forces the recall out. Fern though, the next 2 drop, and that does mean Dhillducks able to secure that point. Vivacity only with the Marcus Deathblade online. Morlock has swapped recently to the Brig. Able to build their ult. Marcus already finding Carmez and Redx, so 2 kills from the Reaper guy. Now coming back in towards point. Going to be looking to deal with the Sojourn. Gets them low. They do get that Mega. Come on, Marcus, you got this. No, Snowl wins that duel. No one from Vivacity able to help the Reaper guy in time. Vivacity did get the point flip, though, which is important. The cat ult comes in, stuns 3 members of Vivacity. Morlock uses the Brig ult, but not enough to sustain themselves or really help the team in the end. And Dhillducks then win the duel. Marcus comes back in and manages to get the trade onto Snow, but it'll be nothing more than an exit frag as they collapse on point. It was an unfortunate time for me to be spectating our Reaper. Crawl now dealing with the poke from Vivacity. Temper looking to harass here on server side. Kitsune invested from Vivacity. Pulse bomb out from Carmez. Does not stick. Gets taken down off of the harassment. Redix next to drop as well. Temper getting good value here on the Soldier, or on the Tracer. Looking to now take down the Sojourn of Snarl. Marcus cleaning up on point with the Death Blossom inside Axe's cage. Allows Vivacity to capture the point now. They need to win one more fight because assuredly Red X on the cat will be able to wrap around and get the touch here. Vivacity scouting to see where the touch comes from. Here is Red X coming in to get that touch. And Cruel as well investing. Morlock getting tracked down on the Brig. Forces the recall out from Carmez. Snowl drops to Marcus. This time does win that duel. Morlock being kept alive so far. Does finally drop Fern. Has to use their Suzu Axe. Trades Redx, who ults them off. Bomb used from Cruel to keep themselves up. Temper comes in, gets the tick. Overtime burning, but it is with the tank still up. It is Dhillducks winning. Marcus didn't get in before the point flipped. Pulse bomb out from Carmez. Doesn't land. Axe now back in the fight. Cruel on the high ground trying to deny with that D.Va. Marcus TP's up to deny that bit of space. Red Exo finds Temper in the back line, meaning Dhillducks have the advantage here. The engage from Morlock early. Snowl has the overclock and takes down Fern. Marcus trades it for a kill onto Filthy, or Frothy Philly, sorry. Now Death Blossom zoning takes down Red X, so both supports dropped. Axe finds Cruel off the D-Mech. Carmez gets the recall to keep themselves alive, but now has Marcus and Temper to deal with. Point flip comes in. Carmez gets the overtime, but not enough. There we go. Vivacity. Woo! Cutting it close, but able to pull out the win in the end. And that's ultimately all that matters here. There's the environmental kill from Red X. Did get traded out. But we'll nevertheless be quite happy about getting that play of the game. And that does obviously mean Vivacity take the first map. So, Dhillducks with the map to pick here. Immediately throwing us to a flashpoint, as we will be heading to Suravasa just as soon as I find it on my sheet. So there we go. Can confirm we will be heading to Suravasa for our second map, picked by the Dhillducks, and the band came in before I could see them. Teams not wasting any time today. We'll wait to see what they are as we head into the next map. But Vivacity, not allowing themselves to get swept today is a good start. They are obviously attempting to avoid ending this series with the same win-loss record as the Dhillducks. They want to keep themselves firmly in the upper half, beat the old guard, as we say. Just waiting for the lineups to be finalized before I can head us in and confirm the bans on Suravasa. I'd be surprised if it wasn't Amalgaban. And it is indeed Amalgaban. And to accompany the Amalgaban is a Kiriko ban from Vivacity. So, reminder, that would have been the Amalgaban coming in first from the Dhillducks, and then the Kiriko ban in response from Vivacity. This time, as we do the overview from the spectator angle, it will be Vivacity in the blue and Dhillducks in the red. So, reminder, that is a map 2 of Suravasa with no Malga, no Kiriko. So, interesting to see what these two teams pick here, heading in to a Flashpoint map. Always curious what people are thinking when they pick some of these bands, for obvious reasons. So, Karma's on the Farah. And see why that was banned first. Crawl on the Zarya. Also matched by Axe. Temper on the Sojourn. Nearly takes down Karma's early. As Vivacity now look for the engage. Temper finding that initial pick onto Snowl. Setting up Vivacity for the first capture point here. Temper, but even almost getting jump scared by his own teammates. Reaper TP there. Karma's trying to play outside on these spam angles to just pump damage into the Vivacity Brawl comp. Marcus, though, able to take them down, proving Reaper can be anti-air just as much as any other hit scan. He's technically a hit scan hero. More in the flex DPS pool, but he is a hit scan, you know. So now Marcus holding that scary angle as Temper looks to wrap around as well. Now sliding back to main, gets Frothy Philly low. Snarl as well. So once more Dhillducks getting kind of forced out. Marcus able to absorb the damage thanks to the bubble. Snarl once more low. Marcus taking them down. Cruel is dangerously low as well. Carmez is in the room. Marcus finds Frothy Philly next, and then Carmez and Red X. The Reaper guy popping off with a cheeky little 4K. Cruel the next to drop, and Vivacity taking first point here on Suravasa, 100-0. And our favourite non-conventional flex DPS filling up the kill feed. Temper, though, on the regular hit scan of Sojourn, does have the overclock now available. Marcus also with the Death Blossom. Fern nearly has the orbital cannon to match Frothy Philly. It's used early by Frothy Philly, matched now by Fern. Axe has the Grav available and does opt to use it. Rally invested. Temper takes down Carmez. Morlock finds Red X and now pops the Rally to be the substitute tank after Axe has dropped. Playing the spaces, zones out Cruel, who does now have their own Grav online, invests it into Temper and Morlock. There's no sustain left to survive them through that. And in the end, it will be Dhillducks taking the capture back here on second point. Carmez with the Farah ult online. We'll be looking to see what damage they can get off of that, but Temper and Marcus do have their own ult. Nothing quite yet other than Carmez now with the bubble engage. Doesn't get anything. Temper with the overclock gets there first. Axe follows it up, able to take down Carmez after getting some good bubbles off to keep their supports alive. And there we go. Vivacity able to flip the point after sustaining that ult engage from Carmez. Marcus still with the Death Blossom online here, as Vivacity set themselves up to hold on this objective. Now with the ult, but Temper immediately shuts that down. Now the Death Blossom comes in from Marcus, finds Frothy Philly, gets Red X low and able to take them down as the rest of their team keeps them alive. Carmez now in and gets taken down as well. Vivacity sustaining the hold here on Suravasa. Good job immediately denying that ult from Snowl. Cruel gonna have to try and see if they can get the touch in, but a lot of damage. Red X does get the overtime wick initiated, but is now low. Fern investing. Carmez has now tried to Reaper guard themselves, but immediately gets their Ray form forced out as Vivacity hold on to this second point, setting themselves up with a map point here as we head to point 3. Gotta move all the way over to Temple. It will be Dhillducks with that slight spawn advantage, able to wrap around to the objective side first, but opting to play for this fight on the right side here. We have a direct mirror match between these two teams. Grav invested early. Carmez takes down Temper. Marcus and the rest of Vivacity are low, so after Brawl invests that, it will be Dhillducks winning the first fight and getting that first point capture here. Morlock does have their ult online, and Axe is close to building the Grav here for Vivacity. There's the early ult from Snowl once again. Can they get value off of it? This time they do. They manage to take down Marcus. Now in the back line, able to take down Temper. Carmez comes in to clean up that back line as well, and Axe ends up getting booped off the map. So another good ult fight there from Dhillducks as they try to deny that third point. Not going to go down without a fight here. Marcus, though, looking to be a menace on the off angle. Rally used early. Grav invested as well. Redex gets caught in it, but there's enough support sustained with the help of Frothy Philly to keep them alive. And Carmez and Marcus, the only ones to drop so far. Temper does have the overclock online, and both teams are currently level. Morlock, the only one to drop for Vivacity, but they opt to not take that fight, rotating back to set themselves up for a 0.3. So 2-1 still in favor of Vivacity as the engage now comes in. Overclock invested early, gets some good damage out, but not enough to secure any kills here. The TP back in from Carmez, not enough to keep them alive. Fern and Marcus now with their ults online. Carmez does have a Death Blossom of their own to match Marcus. But Fern, with that orbital cannon online, should be able to help Vivacity sustain for long enough. Carmez pushing Timber off that angle. Marcus engaging with the Death Blossom, takes down Redex and gets some good damage onto Cruel. Snarl also backing out. Death Blossom reinvest from Carmez. Finds Fern, but gets traded out as well. And so it is Vivacity locking it down here on the third point. Snarl and Cruel do have their ults online coming in to this next fight, though. Well, Snarl, not quite, but will surely have it shortly. So, a Grav and an Overclock to invest here. What value can they get? There's the early Grav, captures Axe, and they're able to take them down. Everyone's focus on that target enough to deal with them. Marcuso takes down Snarl. Morlock trades Redex their Brig. Prowl still on point, though, on the Zarya. Able to contest as we head now into overtime. There's the rally invest from Morlock. Carmez and Marcus both low, but Frothy Philly with that orbital cannon did allow Dhillducks to flip the point. Carmez gets chased out by Marcus. Axe is now back. Overclock invested from Snarl. Temper has one of their own to engage with, but Snarl trades Temper, or finds Temper first, should I say. Marcus has the bubble to initiate and sustain the engage. Opt for the Death Blossom in the backline. Finds two from the Reaper guy. Primarily taking down Cruel is big here. Snarl, though, trades it out for a kill onto Marcus. Axe has to play a little bit careful with both DPS still online. Snarl slides in and back out again, able to just about survive here. Axe trying to run them down, does have the Grav online. Carmez low, gets grabbed in. As soon as that Wraith form is out, they are out of the fight. Rally now in from Redex. Now the next to drop to Marcus, though. And with Redex low, now the Orbital Laser online. Vivacity just need to secure some of these kills. They need to deal with Cruel on point. They managed to do just that. Now it's support. Redex and Frothy Philly the next to drop. And Vivacity, off the back of that, do get those kills. And that does mean they will be able to secure the third point and take the second map. There we go. Good job, Vivacity. Able to lock things down here. Doing brilliantly so far in this series. Taking that map 3-1. Here is the Marcus play of the game. Our brilliant Reaper guy. There's one. There's two. Here comes the third and the fourth. Cleaning up on the kill feed there. Good job, Mr. Reaper guy. And good job, Vivacity, pulling up to 2-0 on the series. Now heading in to map 3. Once again, that will be a map pick for Dhillducks. They've opted to take us to the world of Blizzard, the home of the creators. Hybrid map Blizzard world. So our third and potentially final map of the series is Blizzard World, and the first ban coming out from Dhillducks, can confirm already, is a Brigitte ban. So now we will wait to see, once we get into the game, who it is that Vivacity opted to ban in response. And then we will get underway with map 3. This is always the part I dislike the most. This is the most kind of dead air time, when the second ban has come in, but the lineups are being finalized. As you see here on my screen, this lineup finalization, this is all I get to see while we wait for the teams to confirm their lineups and load in to the next map. I'm going to take this opportunity to take a little bit of a drink. Reminder for everyone watching to also stay hydrated and to follow us on all of our social medias, which are linked in our About section. And yes, CK, because I know you will be here, I promise I will look in how to make chatbots. I haven't been an actual streamer for years, and I managed to not get it working, evidently, because it's not in the chat right now, so Nightbot doesn't like me. But I will at some point. I will get it working, and I will have a recurring chat message for the socials. But for now, just check us in our About section here on the Vivacity Esports Twitch channel. So it would appear that our sides have stayed the same, and our second ban is the Cole Cassidy from Vivacity. Oh, look at that. I'm a opponent. I didn't even know it. Brilliant. Hello, chat. Hello, Captain Hardstuck. Thank you for joining us once again. Thank you, everyone that is watching us here on the Vivacity Esports channel, the official home of all things Vivacity. So we now head in to Blizzard World with a Cassidy and a Brig ban. Reminder, the Brig ban from Dhillducks was what came in first, so clearly they didn't like Morlock on the Brigitte. What? Are you saying, Monkey, are you saying that should be my answer for whenever we have some downtime? Just pull up America's Funniest Home Videos. Maybe. You know what? If we end up getting highlights instead, I've heard some rumblings of a highlight video potentially getting made. If we get a highlight video, I'll fill the dead air time. I'll pull up the highlight video for the team, for the org, every time we get some dead air. How does that sound? Because the last thing I want to do is risk getting a copyright strike, because we do re-upload all of these VODs to the Vivacity Esports YouTube channel as well. So I wouldn't want to risk giving us a copyright strike by playing anything like that. But I can always just be a little bit funny and play something, I'm sure. CK, I don't think I'll need help. I think I forgot to give it mod, which is what it needs. Here we go. Vivacity playing the D.Va on defense, Temper on the Emre. As expected, Marcus still on the Reaper, trying to deal with Cruel on the D.Va in the backline, and able to do so with the help from Temper. Snarl, though, does take down Fern, who is on the ERD. TP invested, Suzu invested from Frothy Philly. Morlock is on the Kiriko this time, still alive, still able to keep Axe up as Marcus TPs to try and harass it. Temper still holds the space on the Emre. Now the re-engage. Morlock with that initial pick finds Karmez on the Tracer, meaning Vivacity should be able to hold out once more. There's those nades coming in from Temper to add some additional damage as he builds up towards his first ult. Morlock, the next ult available though for Vivacity, as Temper gets themselves back up to the high ground. So Frothy Philly ult. Morlock pops theirs, but Temper drops just before the sustain can come in. Axe has the bomb for the remake, but doesn't get it. Zones beat now invested from Red X. Marcus does drop. And it looked like it was a good hold. But Vivacity not able to hold out quite long enough. I think just losing Temper while Morlock was in the animation for their Kitsune Rush. Really unfortunate there. Fern, interestingly, still on the ERD here. Does have the ult online. What can this Sunblast do? Gonna be hoping to give some sunburn to the members of Dhillducks, but not necessarily is the ult from Temper able to pump out enough damage that's then followed up by Axe and Marcus. Recall invested late there from Karmez as they get themselves back into spawn. Vivacity now holding up quite close here, trying to slow down the Dhillducks, who rotate into that mega room. You see Marcus in... Ooh, early ult from Snarl. Fern matches it, gets eaten by Cruel on the D.Va though. Pulse Bomb comes out. Snarl on the Sojourn, getting a lot of value here though in this engagement. Does get taken down by Marcus, who then Death Blossoms in the back line, takes down Red X, but not enough to really flip that fight on its head. So a couple exit frags there from Marcus. Fern now swapping over to the Mizuki as Axe comes out. Vivacity will be able to retouch here before Dhillducks get the capture on second point. Early Kitsune Rush though from Frothy Philly. Nothing from Morlock quite yet to re-engage, so needs to build that ult up before they're able to answer. The boot comes in from Red X and Vivacity just able to get back in time for that touch. Now, there we go. Axe finds Snarl. Is traded by Cruel onto Marcus. Temper holding that high ground. Axe just zoning out. There's the beat engage. Morlock able to stay alive. Temper does drop though, and Axe now having to lock it down on point. Gets that bomb off for the stall, but not able to get the remake. Frothy Philly with the kunai headshot to take them down. Now Vivacity staggered on the retouch, and finally Dhillducks able to get that capture, and now heading into third point with a little over 3 minutes on the time bank. D.Va Bomb still up for Cruel. Pulse Bomb as well from Karmez. Temper does have their ult once again heading into this fight. Gets Frothy Philly taking a bit of damage there from the Emre, who now takes themselves up to the high ground. There's the early Kitsune. Snarl is low, but able to be sustained. Frothy Philly also low, as Cruel comes in to try and deny the damage from Temper. Investing hard is the D.Va, but they get D-mech. Knows they have that mech Up, Cruel takes him down before the remake. Red X then drops to Temper. And here we go, Vivacity able to lock it down, finally on point. Frothy Philly not quite able to TP all the way to safety, gets dropped as well. And Vivacity finding an anchor point to hold and stall some more time out here. Finally, Marcus does have that Death Blossom online as he looks to hold this corner. Has to be careful. There's the early engage. Kitsune match of the overclock. Death Blossom in from Marcus aggressively. He gets Frothy Philly and Snowl to clean that fight up. So, Vivacity winning another fight. Prowl now swapping over to the Zarya to match Axe, who had done so in the last couple of fights. Karmez looking for this rotate off on the off angle. Red X though gets cool on that corner. Finds some headshots from Temper to take them down. Marcus now looking to play the off angle for this pincer. Gets the bubble. Forces the recall out from Karmez early. We're down to under a minute on the time bank for Dhillducks here. Early Kitsune now immediately met with a grab. Beat then has to get reinvested from Red X. They still drop to Marcus. They do find Axe. Re-up from Morlock on the beat to allow Vivacity to sustain here though. They need to try and take down Cruel, and they do just that. Now the ult invested from Temper, but Snowl finds them. Will get locked in on the off angle, and Vivacity able to wrap in onto them. Red X finds Fern though. Is now low. Morlock able to track them down. Karmez tries to get a little bit more capture on the point. Now gets the bubble in to wrap on this angle. Axe back on the Mauga now as Vivacity head into this overtime fight. No ults online for either team, but Cruel is close to theirs. Marcus also very close to theirs, and Fern nearly with the Kitsune rush. There is Marcus. Forces the TP out from Frothy Philly as Vivacity try locking it down on these angles here. Temper has to be careful. There's the grab in from Cruel. Kitsune rush from Fern for the sustain. Pulse Bomb comes in, only sticks onto Axe. Not too much damage. Marcus zoning with the Death Blossom on point, finds two, and Frothy Philly not going to be able to touch. Means Vivacity do hold before the full cap comes in from the Dhillducks, setting themselves up with the golden box of victory here. We'll wait to see exactly where it is. I'm going to sit here and stare roughly where it's going to be so we can see just how far Vivacity will need to push if they want to get the 3-0 sweep in this match. But a pretty decent showing here on the defense. Stalling out enough time to then finally make the hold on third point. And there we go. It is right where the cart was. That is the golden box of victory. This is how far Vivacity need to push if they want to win the series. That's the point that Dhillducks cannot let them get to. But the win condition is set. Can Vivacity pull out the 3-0 series win against the perennial gatekeepers in Masters Division known as Dhillducks? Temper starting off on the Venture here. Snowl on the Sojourn for this defense. It's the Mauga comp from Vivacity. Venture Reaper instead of the Venture Vendetta that we would normally see with Koto in. Temper already in that backline. The pincer is set up. Map flip now by Vivacity. Cruel looks to try and stall. Red X finds Morlock first though. Now Cruel coming in for the touch. Temper able to get up onto Snowl. Harassing the Sojourn off and gets that kill as Fern also finds Redix. Cruel does trade it on to Axe though. Marcus coming in. Ooh, not quite able to take down Frothy Philly. Does mean likely there the TP back out from Frothy Philly does mean that the hold comes out. Temper able to sneak in that first tick though before they disengage. Axe now swapping over to the Zarya, hoping to get a bit more sustain than the open fighting of the Mauga. Bit more range potential as well with the right clicks. Temper once again rotating around, wrapping on the off angle. Karmez has to deal with Morlock. Ooh, Recall already invested. Pulse Bomb invested. Marcus takes down the Tracer. Temper forces the TP out from Frothy Philly, who's up with Cruel. Temper now looking to lock it in on point. Cruel comes in for the retouch. Snarl does find Marcus, who had TP'd in on that engage. Kitsune Rush now from Fern. Axe takes down Snarl. Cruel able to get the remake in, but burst down soon after. Karma's back on the Pharah. Redix does get the kill onto Morlock, and Frothy Philly invests the Kitsune. Temper finds Cruel. Axe is low, having to deal with Karmez. Able to get back to the Mega. Temper still on point and able to survive. Marcus coming back in, finds Redix as Axe now locks in on point. Karmez tries to retouch but gets taken down, and Vivacity finally able to capture first point. Now looking to try and take even more space as they look to burn through Cruel. And Temper takes down Snarl, meaning Vivacity will have a decent amount of cart progression here. Both DPS and Axe's Grav online for Vivacity. Snarl, though, does have the overclock online that they've been able to get good value out of, and Redix inevitably, I'm sure, will be saving that beat for some of the Vivacity ults, as we see the wrap around here from Dhillducks, trying to get some zoning on this point. Now the overclock invested and they find Fern. Grav comes in onto Redix, who does die, doesn't end up opting for the beat. Beat now reinvest as well from Morlock to keep their team alive, knowing that Fern is out of the fight and it's still winnable, meaning they burn through the rest of the Dhillducks fairly quickly. 2 ults though invested from Vivacity. Redix still with that beat online. Karmez and Frothy Philly close to building theirs. So we head into the latter stages of second point. Cruel and Karmez wrapping on to that high ground. Marcus just slowly taking point, forcing Snarl to slide out here as Cruel gets the retouch. Beat, invest, and engage onto Fern. Able to take them down. Temper nearly has the C9 available. Doesn't go for it, though. Marcus does find Snarl and Frothy Philly. The DPS doing well here, but ends up getting taken down. Morlock last alive does drop. Vivacity, though, very close to capturing second point here, and still 2 minutes on the time bank. They do have to deal with 3 ults now online from the Dhillducks. Beat was the only thing they had to invest in that last fight. Playing quite far back though, making sure they don't give up the point too easily here. Temper gets spotted by Cruel. Axe there to play around them as well. Vivacity trying to make their way to point here. Karmez trying to deny it. Kitsune Rush on point. There's the early ult from Karmez. Does take down Axe. So no tank for Vivacity. Marcus trying to get in and zone out on that objective. Fern takes down Snarl. And with Marcus getting a kill as well. Temper then finds Karmez. So Vivacity are winning this, even with Frothy Philly getting the Kitsune Rush off. Morlock does drop, but it's just Cruel left on point. Snarl and Redix now coming in for the retouch. Marcus with the Death Blossom on point, not quite enough to take down Cruel, who has the Diva Bomb as well for the sustain. We're now down under a minute for Vivacity. No ults online. Snarl does have theirs though, so we'll be looking to get value off of the overclock. Here they go, looking to try and take down Temper, who's able to just about escape with their life. Marcus now having to use the Wraith. Gets booped, but doesn't die. Snarl is low. Frothy Philly trades, but Axe finds Snarl. Fern finds Carmez. Beat invest from Vivacity means they're locking it down here on point. Tempered zones out. Cruel now will be looking to kill the Baby Diva and Red X on the Lucio as Frothy Philly drops in the meantime. And Vivacity finally able to capture second here, not leaving themselves much time to capture third, however. And with Red X's beat online, I'm sure Dhillducks will be feeling pretty confident about their chances of holding out here. They do have to contend with the grab from Axe and the burn Kitsune, but I'm sure Vivacity will be careful not to invest too much here with Temper already dropping. Harassment coming out from the Dhillducks. So the Kitsune online. Temper now back on the Bastion here. Kitsune and beat online. There's the early Kitsune from Fern. It's matched by the beat from Carmez. And now the grab comes in. Does find 3, but the beat from Redix is enough to keep them alive. Axe finds Carmez. Temper did get traded out though in that fight. And now with the re-engage off the back of Frothy Philly's Kitsune enables Dhillducks to make the hold. Temper back now on the Tracer to make sure Vivacity can get a touch. Cruel has the Diva Bomb for the retouch. Carmez playing this long angle for the spam. Vivacity looking to try and flip the map here. Marcus still with the Death Blossom online. Map is flipped. Carmez dangerously low, but able to survive. Cruel now engaging. Frothy Philly finds Temper, though, as they try to engage on the off angle. Marcus investing the Death Blossom, but dies. Now Snarl with the ult, and it does look like Dhillducks will be able to hold out here on third point. No one for Vivacity going to be able to respawn in time, especially with Cruel zoning out with the bomb. And in the end, Dhillducks taking it to third point. It's that long stall that they had on the first 2 points really winning it for them. And so they do manage to deny the clean sweep. Vivacity now, though, heading into map 4. They have the pick. And the Lucio and Mauga bans are already out. So, no Lucio, no Mauga bans available for Dhillducks. Means Vivacity should be able to pretty much play whatever comp they want. And so, as I was somewhat expecting, we are heading to a push map. And that push map is Runasapi. So, back to Peru. One of Vivacity's favourite maps here for map 4. Still the potential final map, as we do have the bans in. First ban is going to be the Diva ban from Vivacity, but knowing that Marcus is the flex DPS playing so far everything tonight, the opted ban for the final map is the Reaper ban. So remember, Marcus is not a one-trick. They are a specialist, but they are not a one-trick. But that is an interesting ban from the Dhillducks. So we head into Suravasa, just waiting for everyone to get into the lobby. Runasapi map 4. Vivacity with a good shot at winning it here. but will have to contend with Marcus not having the Reaper guy available. Hi, FPS Vex. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm into Overwatch and non-alcoholic beer. That's Tom Holland's thing, for anyone unaware. Lennon Zim. I see the video. Okay. Respect. I'm glad you see it. I don't quite yet. Quite sure what you are referencing. But we head to Peru for map 4. The lovely mountainous views available for us. Let's go and have a look at those. Here's the beautiful mountain views here of Runasapi out in Peru. The Aztec Incan modern, futuristic settlement here. Got all of this development up in these stunning mountains. But down here we have the fight between our two teams. So it is Marcus on the Emre, Temper on the Venture, Carmez on the Farah, and Kroll on the Sigma. Those are the big kind of identifying changes for this map 4. Temper already in the backline. Axe slamming in onto Kroll, or Snow, sorry, as well. Kroll is, though, the first to drop for Dhillducks. It's a 2-2 trade. Axe looking to try and survive. Carmez pumping out some good damage on the Farah. Vivacity getting that first little bit of bot progression. Axe having to be careful here. Frothy Philly in the backline. Got Carmez down below half HP before Frothy Philly got back to keep their Farah alive. See Temper forcing the TP out from Frothy Philly as Vivacity look to take the space here. Morlock, though, first to drop. Carmez finds Axe as well, and the spam poke damage from Dhillducks is going to be quite aggressive here. It's going to be oppressive and hard for Vivacity to take as much space into. So we see Vivacity now looking to find their point to hold from. Not able to deny the lead take. Frothy Philly now with the early Kitsune rush. Vivacity able to back out and zone it. Now re-engage with Fern's Kitsune, as both teams kind of just end up backing around these corners and not really taking a fight against each other here. Snow does go low, but able to survive. Kroll now getting poked out. Slam in from Axe. Oh, there's the overclock, though, from Snow. Axe in a dangerous position, has to run out. Snow looking to try and track them down. Temper getting zoned out on that backline. Marcus, though, now re-engaging with an ult of their own. Here, beat is used for the sustain from Red X, keeping their team alive. Now the graphitic flux comes in. Temper did find Carmez, but Fern drops to Kroll's graphitic flux, and then Axe falls as well. Snow then finds Morlock. Temper invests an ult here, but it's not going to be enough to sustain. Marcus, though, does get a cheeky little exit frag onto Snow. Temper on the Venture, able to survive here on the off angle. Now Vivacity trying to get that re-engage. Cruel stuck in. Frothy Philly did TP back. Doesn't have much in the way of sustain there. Karmez does find Temper and Morlock on that off angle, meaning it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Dhillducks. Axe once again dealing with the spam, and Marcus drops. Not quite getting the value on the Emre that they would like. It does mean the forward spawn and more is unlocked. Temper now on the Tracer. Still, though, running into the damage, but Marcus finds Karmez this time. Kitsune Rush mirror from these teams. Stun comes in on to Crawl and Frothy Philly. Axe actually finding Red X first. Marcus then now getting the value on the Emre. Will look to stall out Crawl in that backline just a little bit and allow Vivacity to start taking the bot back. It was a good ult fight there, but the overclock and the Griffidic Flux back for Dhillducks coming in to this next fight will be met with the beat and the cage, as well as the Emre ult from Vivacity. Temper getting forced out on this off angle. Axe with the early engage. Now cages. Gets Cruel in it, but Snowl takes down Marcus first, denies that ult. Red X drops. Here's the Griffidic Flux. It's matched with the beat from Fern. Axe actually stalling out of it. Karmez finds Temper, but Fern wraps back around to take them down. Axe is low. Gets the Suzu to keep them alive. Morlock comes in to meet their tank as well. It's 4v3 on this angle. Red X has the beat online should it be needed. Morlock not able to escape here, as the re-engage comes in. Stun, though, onto Axe, who gets burnt. Fern drops as well. And Vivacity just not able to sustain and hold the space. The poke is too much from Dhillducks here. Marcus and Temper still have their ults online, though, but two support ults from the Dhillducks here to match. Post bomb out early, gets Suzu'd. Now the ult from Marcus to try and deal with Snowl in the backline. Does so successfully. Frothy Philly, though, trades it back with a kill onto Temper. And Marcus not able to find a second as of yet. Means it is still the Dhillducks with the ascendancy on this map. So they look to try and take more space here. The spam from this poke comp too much. There's the early Kitsune. Karmez, though, comes in with the barrage. Axe takes him down, but it was enough damage to kill Morlock and Marcus in the end. Temper now trying to deal with Snowl. Axe does find Frothy Philly, and Temper finds Snowl. Axe is low. Fern trying desperately to keep their tank alive. Does get the Suzu off in time. Cruel then drops. Red X follows, and finally Vivacity able to get that win. Able to get that fight. Start pushing bot back towards their side. Forward spawn was available, so it will be a relatively quick fight. Now the forward spawn deactivated, but Cruel has the Griffidic Flux online. Snowl will be building their overclock soon. Point flip. Axe able to sustain through the Griffidic Flux, but Karmez finds Temper on the off angle. Axe now invests the K to try and burn through Cruel, and they do just that. Marcus taking them and Red X down. Axe finds Karmez as well. Snowl and Frothy Philly drop, and forward spawn unlocked for Vivacity. They finally start pushing the bot back in their favor. Snowl, the only one with an ult online so far for the Dhillducks, but Temper, Morlock and Marcus have theirs. Fern close to matching the ult from Frothy Philly. Snowl with the first invest. Oh, ends up low. Doesn't have the sustain as the beat comes in from Morlock to deny that damage and keep Vivacity holding some amount of space here. Now Marcus with their ult on the Emre, looking to deal with the Lucio. Gets them low. Can anyone meet it? There's the damage from Marcus, finally able to take them down. Has to be careful here as they're in the sky on the Emre. Does get the Suzu in and now gets all low. Frothy Philly does trade on to Morlock, but Vivacity won't mind too much. Beat re-engage from Dhillducks. Karma's as well with the barrage, but 2 kills in favor of Vivacity. Can they make it 3? Can they make it 4? They do take down Red X, and they end up taking the advantage on the map. The only one to drop is Temper and Fern, who should be able to get back relatively quickly, but more importantly, Vivacity have forward spawn and the bot advantage here. We're less than a minute left. Axe nearly has their ult online. Nothing yet available for Dhillducks, and Karma's is swapped off the Pharah on to the Tracer here. Axe has that cage available. Red X is low. Temper coming in to try and harass. Now trying to deal with Frothy Philly. Has to recall. Morlock low though and finds a railgun shot from Snowl, who also finds Marcus. And Axe Snowl on the Sojourn popping off here. We're down to under a minute. Kitsune Rush and Graphitic Flux nearly online for the Dhillducks. They only really need to win one more fight, but if Vivacity can hold on, it's only one fight for them as well. Cage available for Axe, but Axe is getting pushed low. We're now into overtime. It's win here or end the map. Axe early in. Graphitic Flux onto the backline of Morlock and Fern. They are low, but they're able to sustain. Marcus finds Frothy Philly. Axe had already taken down Karmas, but Snowl with that overclock online, pumping out damage, finds Marcus and Morlock. It's now just Temper and Fern left alive. Fern does find Red X, but Snowl and Kroll take them down. Fern gets the Suzu off, but not enough to sustain for the Kitsune. And there we have it. Dhillducks in overtime, able to win it. Not quite enough from Vivacity in that overtime fight. And so we will be heading to a map 5 here. Vivacity have the map pick, and Reaper Mauga cannot be banned. Reaper Mauga or Lucio, all bans have been used from the Dhillducks. Do Vivacity know what they want to go for on map 5 here? Oof. Thought we had a chance there. But Dhillducks proving why they have been the gatekeepers of Masters Division for the most part. The gatekeeper to OWCS, really. So far. Certainly not making it easy for our Vivacity roster. So we will go to map 5. It is going to be Rialto. So an escort map. No real chance of a draw here on map 5. Vivacity would have loved to have won it there on map 4. Just not quite able to hold out in that overtime fight. Not able to deny Snow, who once again popped off on the Sojourn with that overclock online. So, Vivacity, what will the first ban be as we head in to Rialto for map 5? Certainly getting heated here in this series. Waiting for the teams to load in to this fifth and final map. We thank you once more, everyone joining us on the Vivacity Esports channel. Once again, proving to be a dangerous matchup here. Both teams ready now for the fifth and final map, so I can confirm our bans. Vivacity opting to ban the Sojourn. Dhillducks responding with a ban of the Zarya. So we head to Italy for Rialto. Can Vivacity do enough here to win? It's obviously a shame that Makoto, our regular flex DPS, wasn't available, because it definitely feels like Marcus struggled at times there with the Reaper ban. Having our standard Vendetta player certainly would have been an advantage on that map 4 of Runasapi. You know, just wait for our teams to load in to the lobby for us to then get underway with map 5. I think they're just doing it on purpose. They like forcing me to have to stay up late to cover these matches. So the canals of Venice here, making up our fifth and final map. Beautiful, scenic Rialto. This is going to be first defense from the Dhillducks. So Vivacity gonna have to show what they can do on the attack here. To start us off, Carmez back on the Pharah, axe on the Diva. Gonna be trying to deny as much of that spam damage as possible. No real contest on this first point. Dhillducks opting to play back for their first kill box. Vivacity rotating in to the high ground, but Snowl on the Emre getting good damage off. Following up on the far spam from Carmez. Takes down Temper. Snowl then finds Morlock as well. Carmez gets the boot onto Fern. So already good first hold here off of that first fight from the Dhillducks. Morlock now on the Lucio. So once again, they allow the rotation from Vivacity. Taking the space here, Tempered low once more. Crawl able to take them down as Carmez flies out to safety. Marcus looking to try and get some point progression here before TPing in to help their team. But Carmez able to get that spam off once more. Vivacity now rotating to try and take the high ground. Looking to flip the map here. Axe on the point. Kitsune Rush invested. Temper takes down Carmez, who forgot about the respawn there. Now pops the Emery ult, but drops. Vivacity only trading Temper out of this fight so far. Have the map flipped. Re-engage will come back around from the Dhillducks here as they rotate back towards bridge. Crawl are now in place for the re-engage, but Snau disconnecting here. Unfortunate. Some issue for the Dhillducks roster. Means he will lose the ult charge and be late to come back in to this fight. Would not quite be the way that Vivacity would be hoping to take this point. Pause now about to end. Snau gonna have to be coming back from spawn. Swaps to the Widow. Kitsune Rush now from Frothy Philly to recontest as Axe gets forced out. Temper back on the Tracer. Does get taken down, and even with the DC from Snau, Dhillducks able to hold on. Marcus low, but gets that disengage to safety. Vivacity now holding up on this high ground. TP from Marcus, looking to hold Snau in the spawn. Gets forced out, but is somewhat able to zone the enemy DPS away. Now the barrage comes in. Axe able to get the remake as well as Temper takes down Carmez. Crawl is low. Beat invested from Redex. Marcus able to escape, but then Snau does trade it. Beat re-engage from Vivacity. They need to try and get Crawl out before the remake. Not quite able to do so as Redex and Snau now get the re-engage. Dhillducks with just over a meter left, able to hold on. Unfortunate Temper. With the post bomb online, Marcus has the Death Blossom. Temper looking to rotate around. Vivacity trying to take the space. Do have to deal with Cruel coming in to try and back up the spam damage from Carmez. Axe is low. Kitsune Rush is invested, but Frothy Philly finds Temper, who can't get the post bomb off. Marcus does trade the kill onto Frothy Philly though, and now looking to play around the point, but Carmez still pummeling in the damage. Gets low. Marcus finally able to take them out, so the Pharah is denied finally here. Axe under half HP. We now head into overtime on first point. Kitsune Rush re-engage from Dhillducks. Marcus with the Death Blossom doesn't get the zoning they'd have been looking for. As Cruel able to take them down. Pulse Bomb comes in, gets Cruel, but Snau re-engage with the Emery ult, finds Fern. Axe drops. Carmez drops Temper, and Dhillducks able to hold here on the first point. Unfortunate. Vivacity getting full held here on map 5. Gonna have to hold just as strong on their defense here. Gonna be hard to win this map now. Now they did almost capture first point. They were I think at one point within a meter of capturing, but they were not able to do so. So now they will have to match and get a even stronger full hold themselves here on the defense. Going to be tough. It's going to be a tough loss for Vivacity if they don't pull this off here. Now, let's see what they can do. Axe already down to 1 HP. The spam from the Pharah and the Widow takes down the Vivacity tank early here. Immediately enabling some point progression for the Dhillducks. Not the start they needed at all. Carmez proving lethal on the Pharah. Marcus trying to get in on that off angle to deny them. But Dhillducks so far just taking 3 space. Cruel takes down Temper in the back line. The stun comes in onto Cruel. They are low. They're going to get demeched, but Axe is equally low here on the Domina. Now having to retouch as we're already very close to the end. Marcus does find Red X. Cruel gets near to the demech. Now opts to run off. Frothy Philly did kill Axe though in that. Does get traded out late as Marcus comes in to take down Cruel. Has to be careful not to get punished by Carmez. Is able to escape, meaning Axe, who is now swapped over to the D.Va, can come back with the defense. Fern does have the Kitsune Rush online just a little bit before Frothy Philly has theirs. Basti looking to try and make some space. Fern already with the Suzu forced out though. Cruel now on the back line. Kitsune Rush invested back across point. Axe able to go in and find Red X. Now the Kitsune Rush from Frothy Philly in return. Axe gets demeched. Doesn't have the bomb to come back in. Marcus does have the Death Blossom, but it's going to be hard for Vivacity to touch with Axe currently demeched. And now they're down and they're out, and no one from Vivacity in range to touch. Meaning that Dhillducks take the map 1-0 and manage to pull off the reverse sweep here. Play of the game from Snell. Vivacity, I think they forgot that the Reaper was still available for Runasapi. I think they should have tried to pull out a separate map for map 4 and then hope to take it to Runasapi on a map 5, because in the end, Rialto, I don't think really the map they'd have been looking for there on map 5. I think they were hoping to win it at Runasapi, but just struggling to do so, not having Makoto available and having that Reaper ban coming in. Unfortunate that does mean Vivacity fall to 7-3, now level with the Dhillducks. Meaning Vivacity will not be holding on to that top spot in the division. Dhillducks now up there to tie it with them. Probably equal on the tiebreakers as well. Actually, there you go. We're going to have a quick look. There we go. And there we do get it. Dhillducks up level. And if any of these, I mean, Dhillducks somehow. That's just not. Hello? Faceit? Do you want to? There we go. There's Dhillducks So they do have the tiebreaker. So Dhillducks now at the top of Masters Division. Vivacity underneath them. Team Z still with games in hand. Fallen still undefeated. And Amplify still yet to play. Vivacity starting to look scary here. That reverse sweep certainly not helpful for Vivacity's case as they try to hold on here. Unfortunate. Not how that game looked to be going off the back of the first two maps. I will be throwing us over to a raid. I believe Bullskunk Jeff is covering one of the other matches, Meowl Academy against Kintsugi, who are heading in to map 3. So I will throw us over to a raid. Thank you everyone for watching Hunter Tame. Thank you for coming in and thank you for covering the match as well. It's always appreciated. We love having everyone come and join us. Unfortunately, starting to struggle here in Masters Division. Teams starting to figure out what Vivacity can do. Vivacity not quite having the answers at the moment. But we thank everyone nonetheless for watching. And we hope you will follow us and keep up to date with everything else to see if Vivacity can hold on to that playoff position and keep it going for the rest of Season 8. But for now, that is it from me. Big thank you from everyone at Vivacity for everyone joining us in the chat. And we hope you enjoy the match. Go spread some love on Jeff's channel over at Bullskunk. Hope you have fun, and we'll see you again for the next Vivacity match.